his side of the story with his attorney. We have the latest from both sides. Reducing stress, the simple tricks you can start doing right now to live a healthier lifestyle. Tech World War. Apple's new privacy setting gives consumers more control, but Facebook says they're not having it.
And NFL Draft Week continues. We get a closer look tonight at the big stage and what's new compared to other drafts. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Oh, yeah. This is good.
This is great.
This is more like it.
This is great.
Here we go, right? Beautiful afternoon across Northeast Ohio. I even have complaints that people are saying it's too hot. Come on, friends. Like, we've got just this one day where it's going to be like this and things are going to cool off again. But boy, this is like a summer preview for everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford, who I know is loving this
I am.
weather.
And here's my only thing, Bets. I wish we could just order carbon copies of this so we could have it tomorrow and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So many people out and about downtown today. It felt like downtown again. Just a gorgeous day all the way around.
Yep.
And on that note, we say hello again to you. Thank you so much for choosing What's New. We begin today at 5 with a whole new set of guidelines from the CDC when it comes to mask wearing outdoors. Earlier today, the CDC relaxing its guidelines, saying that fully vaccinated Americans no longer need to cover their faces when they are outside unless they're in a big crowd of strangers.
Now, this is a huge step toward our country returning to, quote, normal, and a sigh of relief for many. Today, President Biden backed the CDC's decision and urged anyone who's not vaccinated to do so.
So for those who haven't gotten their vaccination yet, especially if you're younger or think you don't need it, this is another great reason to go get vaccinated.
Well, as you can imagine, there's a few moving parts to this announcement.
Yeah, so our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, is live now on What's New to break it all down. Monica, good afternoon to you. This does really feel like that little incentive, maybe a jump start to encourage Americans who so far have not taken the vaccine to go out and do it.
Yeah, I think that was the point of it all, too. But finally, we can all breathe a little easier outside without a mask in some situations. Now, if you've been fully vaccinated, that means it's been 2 weeks since your second dose of Moderna or Pfizer vaccine, or 2 weeks since your one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. You no longer need to wear a mask outdoors if you're alone, with family members, or in a small group of people. If you're in a crowded group of strangers, then yeah, you need to keep that mask.
If you are fully vaccinated and want to attend a small outdoor gathering with people who are vaccinated and unvaccinated, or dine at an outdoor restaurant with friends from multiple households, the science shows if you are vaccinated, you can do so safely, unmasked.
So what does this mean for Ohio's mask mandate? Well, today the governor said he really didn't have a chance to look over the CDC guidelines, but felt they were common sense. When asked if the CDC guidelines would change Ohio's mandate, he said he would look into it. But meanwhile, Ohio's mandate says we must wear masks in public at all times when indoors. That's not a residence. You must wear one outdoors if you can't maintain a 6-foot distance, and in any public transportation situation, of course. So that's what we need to remember. There's a little fine detailing, but he basically said it's kind of the same thing what we've been doing in Ohio, Bets.
So in other words, let's get ready to hit the patios around Northeast Ohio. Restaurants certainly gearing up for that. What else did the governor discuss today?
Yeah, his big announcement today was any fully vaccinated Ohioan will no longer have to quarantine if they are exposed to someone with COVID-19. The governor reiterated, the more people we get vaccinated, the more the restrictions are going to lift. And tonight at 6, I'll fill you in about all the new things happening at the Wolstein Center, because now they've extended how often they're going to be giving vaccines now. And pretty much you can just walk in and get one if you want one.
All right, very good. Monica Robbins live tonight on What's New. Monica, thank you very much.
Changing directions now, Trayvon Johnson, the young man who was shot earlier this month by an undercover DEA agent, says he's just happy to be alive. Our Romney Smith was there when he spoke about the shooting for the first time since it happened. And Romney, there are two very different stories that are being presented to the public.
There really are, Betsy. Trayvon Johnson is a young black man who says he was simply on his way home and has no idea why he was shot during an undercover DEA investigation that had nothing to do with him. Earlier today, he spoke out at a news conference, and his family and his lawyer also talked about the April 14th shooting. They claim that Trayvon approached a vehicle with tinted windows to question why they were in front of his home. An officer shot Johnson. He was able to run into his front yard, collapsed, and his older brother helped him inside. Trayvon said it has been a really tough road to recovery, and his brother described why he felt he couldn't do more immediately following the shooting.
A lot of pain. Every day I go through pain.
My brother almost died in my arms. I told y'all that I was a veteran. I told y'all that he was shot, and no one tried to apply medical attention to him. I was trained as a combat lifesaver. Immediately, I tried to do something, but I knew that if I attended to him, that I would possibly be shot.
Court records state that the DEA agent saw Johnson showing a gun in his waistband and that he approached the undercover car and that they recovered a gun at the scene. Two claims that the family strongly denies. Now, I spoke with the Cleveland DEA agent this afternoon. They said that this case is still open and actively under investigation. The family's attorney says the law firm is conducting its own private investigation as well. Certainly a lot that unfolded in a very short amount of time.
Romney Smith reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Romney. Also new tonight, Ohio sees a record number of anti-Semitic incidents in 2020. Now, this is according to the ADL, a group that tracks hate. The ADL recorded 43 anti-Semitic incidents statewide, up from 25 the year before. 60% of those took place right here in Northeast Ohio. Despite coronavirus pandemic restrictions, the pandemic inspired new hateful ideas and tactics like Zoom bombing. 3 News investigates. We'll have much more on this story next Thursday in our A Turning Point series. That's at 7 p.m.
Now on your feet at 5, the NFL Draft just 2 days away, and downtown Cleveland will look and feel as alive as it's been really since the pandemic began about a year and a half ago. Today, we got our first up-close look at the NFL's main stage. This is where all of the action will go down. Brandon Simmons is with us now. He has more on how the 3-day draft experience will unfold here in the CLE. Brandon, good afternoon.
Hey, Jay. Yeah, if you don't have tickets for this weekend's event, you're probably missing out. I got to just tell you like it is. We're here on Mall C, obviously already hundreds of people who are out here just trying to get a glimpse of the stage setup, which is going on behind us along the lakefront. And earlier today, as you said, we were able to get a closer look at that stage, the closest we've been since construction started back on April 5th. And this is the largest stage ever put together for an NFL draft event. At 95 feet tall, 220 feet wide, and 225 feet deep. Part of this size has to do with keeping people safe with the COVID restrictions in place. But one thing that there are no restriction on is the entertainment that's in place. There will be plenty of entertainment going on to supplement the draft itself, plenty of LED screens, hundreds of lights fixtures to rival any concert you've ever attended. And speaking of attendance, we now have an estimate of how many people to expect each day.
We project to have 50,000 fans a day in the draft experience and 4,000 to 5,000 fans over where we are right now between the vaccinated area that you're standing in as well as inside of the draft theater itself.
Now, for those not attending, there will also be plenty of TV coverage with national networks, ESPN and NFL Network stages set up inside Draft Theater, broadcasting the draft and shots of Cleveland all night long. Now, they're putting on all of this stuff, putting on the finishing touches and just trying to get everything together and make sure it's perfect starting Thursday night. But one thing they can't control, Jay, of course, is the weather. There are a lot of people who are worried about that. We know that could affect attendance. Obviously, we all wish we could just bottle up what we're seeing today and save it till Thursday, but of course, we'll have to just see what happens.
Yeah, as Betsy told me earlier today, she is in marketing, not production. So don't blame Betsy. She can't do anything about it. Yeah, I'm with you, Brandon. Beautiful weather there today. Too bad it's going to take a little turn, and we'll talk about that later in the program. Live tonight from downtown Cleveland, Brandon Simmons. Brandon, thanks.
Well, downtown Cleveland, not the only place feeling the draft experience. We've been telling you the many ways that the NFL plans to give back to the city of Cleveland. And today we highlight its green initiatives. 40 trees were planted in the Metro Parks this afternoon, a sustainable way for the NFL to say thank you to this year's host city. Our January Keaton was there to hang out at the tree planting today and has more.
It's just a tremendous opportunity for us to give something back to the community.
The NFL draft is just 2 days away, and the league has already been hard at work beautifying the city it'll call home for a few days. The NFL's traditional focus on sustainability during larger events is extending to Cleveland, with a series of community projects planned, including this tree planting today at Parma's Big Creek Reservation. Draft week events will largely be green.
We were seeing some trees in decline, and here was a great opportunity to plant 40 new trees, tulips, pin oaks, and bur oaks along the way that will help with our overall carbon offsets, and these trees will help. They're the lungs, basically, of our community.
And those lungs are being planted to leave a positive legacy in Cleveland and throughout Ohio.
We've been doing this for 28 years at NFL events, and it just keeps growing and growing.
No pun intended, Susan Grow. And yes, her last name is Grow. She's the director of NFL Green. They'll not only be planting trees in the Metro Parks, but in other areas of Cleveland, they'll be building community gardens, donating unserved food, repurposing event materials, and supporting a harbor cleanup during draft week to lower their carbon footprint and return the love to Cleveland.
I think it's important for events to offset their impact, but if you can do something more and leave things better, leave a green legacy, I think that's really important.
Amen, Susan. I agree wholeheartedly. Now, the Cleveland Metro Parks, they're going to be in charge of keeping up with the 40 trees you just saw planted. But they have a zillion of them, right? So this should not be hard. The Cleveland Alliance, as well as Destination Cleveland, they're going to help keep up the rest of these green initiatives so that Cleveland can continue to be beautiful for years to come, guys. Betsy, isn't this awesome?
It is fantastic. You know, we often say Cleveland is a green city by a blue lake, and this is one more example of how we do it. That's awesome. Great story tonight. Thanks so much, January.
Coming up next on What's New, a battle between Apple and Facebook. Some of the changes that you'll see if you have any Apple products, and they're actually intended to help protect your privacy on social media.
Plus, we'll have more on how Kanye West is stepping up to pay respects to the late rap icon DMX. We'll have those details in your pop break.
And Jason Fraser, man, did you pick a great day to fill in for Matt Wintz? Because for my money, this has been the nicest weather day of 2021. Jason, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Jay. Well, you know, that was the whole reason why Matt is off today. I'm just kidding there. He's at home recovering. So here's the good news, friends. It was a very warm one today, and you know what? I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, but there is going to be a big change on the way. And if you're doing a little bit of dining, if you're thinking about doing that, maybe, you know, serving up some Jason's tacos there, as you can see there in the background, outdoor dining, inside, outside, 2 green thumbs up, as we'll expect to see partly cloudy skies and temps in the 70s. So how cool are we going to get? I'll answer that right after this.
Oh, it's Tech Tuesday here on What's New, and today we are talking about the battle between Apple and Facebook. Apple just intensified the war with their release of a new privacy feature.
Yeah, this is the deal. It gives consumers more control over whether or not they want apps like Facebook to be able to track them around the internet. It requires companies to now ask permission to do this, to track your searches on other companies' sites as well as apps. Tracking allows apps to push out targeted ads. So if you go to a particular site, Facebook then can sell your information to a company that manufactures products that might be in your wheelhouse. According to TechCrunch, Facebook argues that this feature will hurt small businesses that depend on targeting ads. Other sources confirm they're against it because they know it's going to hurt their $40 billion digital advertising business.
All right, well, this feature will kick in once your update happens with your software. When you open a new app, it's going to ask you if you want to let the app track your activity across other companies' apps and sites. So another selection for you, but it's an easy one. And you can allow it or ask the app not to track you.
Now, here's what you can do about the apps that you already have on your phone. It's very simple. Listen along. Go to Settings. If you have an Apple product, that's that little gear-looking wheel, gray. Click on that, and then click on Privacy. Then Tracking will be the first thing that you see up at the top. Tap that, and then just turn off, toggle that switch off. That it will actually ask you, do you want to allow apps to request to track? When you do that, this means any app that tries to ask for your permission will automatically be blocked from asking that and automatically informed that you have requested not to be tracked. Like I said, super easy. I did it today. Takes 15 seconds. Here's the deal. I'm on Team Apple here. I'm all for rights of privacy, particularly online. It's just a small step towards achieving total privacy. But Facebook is just going to, Betsy, find a way to do without whatever percentage of their $40 billion business is going to go away here. I think that's fair.
I think the very interesting conversation to have would be the spin of it, right? So Facebook is mad because Apple is saying, nope, we're not going to let you do that.
Right.
Meanwhile, there are users who Facebook is not allowing to use their service. And I know it's a private company, but guess what? Apple's a private company too.
It is.
So you've kind of got the battle of these two giants who are duking it out, and there's just that little bit of like, oh, turnabout is fair play. Isn't that interesting?
I gotta say, my opinion, I think that Facebook has gotten away with this for far too long. This is long overdue, and I'm glad Apple's doing it.
They grew quick. Well, I'll tell you what, don't always believe what you see on Facebook, number one. Number two, the weather forecasts on Facebook have totally been nailing this down throughout the day today. Jason, I got a text from my mom. She said it's too hot.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, Betsy's mom.
Big Sue does not like the heat, okay? What? But the good news is we're going to cool it down a little bit as we go through the week. So there's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, well, you know what? I know who was loving it. My wife, Romney Smith. She was over the moon, friends. And you know what? We got a big change that's going to be coming up here within the next 12 to about 24 hours. Over the next couple of hours, we will see temperatures decline from the 80s where they're at right now into the 60s. And look at this, friends. I mean, we are in the 80s right now. We are warmer than Savannah, Georgia right now, which is about 1,200 miles to our south. 81 at the Cuyahoga County Airport, 83 over in Elyria. And you may be wondering, why is it so warm? Well, there's two basic things going on. We got a very strong southerly, southwesterly breeze. It's ranging anywhere from about 7 to about 23 miles per hour. But the other reason why is we got a huge ridge up in the jet stream. The jet stream is pretty much, it acts as a club bouncer, right? It separates very cold Canadian air from very warm southern air. And you can see right there, we're pretty much in that nice little ridge right there. What's going to end up happening over the next 12 to about 24 hours is we are going to end up seeing a good old dip in the jet stream, and that's going to allow some cooler air just as the NFL draft is going on. I know. I'm sorry, guys. All right, satellite and radar. For now, we are seeing mainly clear skies across the area, but we are going to start start to see a lot more cloud cover push across our region. Right now, it's in the central part of the United States, and embedded in these clouds are some precip. So we are going to get some rain in here not only tomorrow, but also on Thursday as well. National Design Mart, hour by hour forecast. So we'll continue to see very mild air push across our region tonight. I'm expecting the low temperature to be pretty much in the low 60s. Keep in mind that's where we should be for an average high this time of year. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be mainly cloudy skies, and by the afternoon time, we'll warm up into the mid 70s. We'll start to see some pop-up rain showers. Could even see a few rumbles as well tomorrow, especially after about 6 o'clock. And you can see some of these shades of red as well as orange in there. It's indicating that some of these rumbles could be pretty strong at times. Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook. So 77 for a high tomorrow. Then we dip down into the 60s by Thursday, and Friday we are in the mid 50s. I do think, though, we are going to end up rebounding by this time next week. Jay?
All right, very good. Thank you, Jason. We'll see you in the next half hour. Next on What's New, we're going to tell you which iconic director has remade the all-time classic West Side Story. We'll give you a look at the trailer, which is out now.
Plus, a track meet in Utah had an unlikely participant competing in the home stretch of a high school relay race. That is our worth the watch. I think Corey needs to get on this track.
He's closing hard.
We'll be right back.
Well, today, Billie Eilish announced she's releasing her second full-length album this summer. It'll be titled Happier Than Ever, and it drops July 30th, but you do not have to wait all the way till then to hear some of the new music. She is, in fact, releasing a new song Thursday morning. Now here's Kiara Cotton with the rest of today's top entertainment headlines.
Kanye West is paying his respects to the late Earl Simmons, best known as DMX. The media mogul enlisted the help of fashion brand Balenciaga to create a memorial shirt in honor of DMX, who passed away earlier this month. The shirt, priced at $200, sold out in less than 24 hours and raised $1 million. All of the proceeds will be donated to the Simmons family.
I know you guys understand Health is the most important thing.
And more changes are coming to The Talk. Host Carrie Ann Inaba announced yesterday that she will be taking a leave of absence from the show. In the past, the Dancing with the Stars judge has been open about her struggles with chronic illnesses and pain.
I appreciate your support. I appreciate the love and support from the Talk family. And I hope to be back soon.
We're wishing her the best of luck.
Just met a girl named Maria.
It's been 60 years, but Tony and Maria are back in the spotlight. The trailer for Steven Spielberg's West Side Story remake has officially been released, starring Ansel Elgort and Rachel Zegler. The movie follows the rivalry between two New York City street gangs and the forbidden love affair between Tony and Maria. And several elements from the 1961 film remain in the remake, including an appearance from Rita Moreno in the original trailer that aired for the first time during the Oscars. West Side Story is expected to hit theaters on December 10th. The movie release was pushed back an entire year due to COVID-19, but now we'll finally get to see if these two star-crossed lovers will end up happy after all. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big year for movies coming out. All right, well, we all know that dogs are great, but this gal is jumping barriers, literally. This is Holly, a fast and feisty pup. There she is, coming right up there in lane 3. She wanted to participate during a relay race recently. Look at this, she tracked him down.
Does she catch her at the wire?
Sure. Well, the runner actually looked over and saw the dog get slowed up a little bit. But
she won.
Right? I think that is so fantastic. You know, dogs are just so awesome about like wanting to be a part of everything and play. Obviously, she's like, guess what? I'm about to take this girl down. And thankfully she didn't trip her. That would be my only big concern, but what a great dog.
I'm wondering, it seems like the girl there that won the race heard the crowd roaring because they saw the dog, and she must have thought that another real runner, competitor, was coming up on her heels, and she really kicks it in there at one point, and I think that's why, because she hears the crowd and she figures, oh, someone's closing.
Well, they obviously
legs.
smoked the competition anyway, so a runaway lead there, but what a fun video.
Oh my goodness, that is absolutely great. Unbelievable. All right, here's what's ahead in the next half hour of What's New. We have the new guidance from the CDC on wearing masks outside. We'll tell you what you need to know if you've been fully vaccinated.
Plus, just 2 days now until round 1 of the draft here in Cleveland. Brandon Simmons joins us live with your first look after some big previews today.
And surviving through the stress. We've got some simple and easy tricks that will help you manage stress in your life. It's pretty important. We all have it, and that's coming up.
Check 1, 2, 3, Brandon's microphone. We're still talking NFL draft right now on Mall C. Obviously hundreds of people hanging out behind us. NFL Pepsi helmet.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We welcome you into the second half hour of What's New with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, it hit me as we're walking to the studio to do the show, walking here to the set. Why didn't we do the show outside today?
I guess I've never even thought about that.
I mean, it's gorgeous. I didn't want to come inside at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that may be something we have to keep an eye on.
Can we think about that in the future? On days like this?
Let's take this show on the road, Jay.
Just take it outside. I don't even care if it's out in the front parking lot or out in the back deck looking over the lake.
It'll be great.
I'm in.
Just anything outside.
I'm in.
But that means we also have to do it when it's not so nice.
No. Not into that.
Right. All right. Let's get going, everybody. We start this half hour off with 3 things you need to know. The FBI is opening a federal civil rights investigation into a shooting in North Carolina. Last week, deputies in Elizabeth City shot and killed Andrew Brown while trying to serve a search warrant and arrest him. The family's private pathologist claims he was shot in the right arm 4 times and once in the back of his head. 7 deputies are on administrative leave while 3 resigned. The sheriff is pleading with the community to be patient. Also new today, the CDC is updating its guidelines on masks. The agency said this afternoon that fully vaccinated Americans do not need to cover their faces outside unless they're in a big crowd with strangers like at concerts and sporting events. Those who haven't been vaccinated should wear masks at all outdoor events, especially with other unvaccinated people. They should also keep using masks at outdoor restaurants. Fully vaccinated people do not need to cover up in those situations.
And Betsy, our daily COVID numbers continue to trend below our 2-week averages. Ohio reporting 1,560 new cases today. That's more than 100 below our 14-day average, which is now down to 1,681. Also, our cases per 100,000 now at an estimated 162. That's down a few more cases from yesterday. And if we can take a look at our next graphic, there it is. The number of vaccinated Ohioans has now eclipsed 4.6 million first doses in Ohio. That's 39.37% of our total population. Well, everyone is talking about the NFL draft, which begins, of course, 2 days from today. Many of the top college football players expected to go early in the draft will be here in Cleveland, as our city will once again be in the national sports spotlight.
Well, today we got a look at the setup. Brandon Simmons joins us live with a preview of what you'll experience starting on Thursday. Brandon, I mean, it's a huge expanse of different tents and fences and all kinds of stuff. And really, you can't even see through the chain link fence to get an idea of what's going on. So first of all, how many people are they expecting and how cool is it really on the inside?
Well, first off, I want to tell you where we are. First, we're outside on Mall C. You can see a lot of people enjoying just the minimal setup that's here. But once you get inside that fencing, that's where all the magic happens, where the big stage is set up. And that's where they're telling us they expect to see as many as 50,000 people per day over the 3 days. So we're talking over 150,000 people inside of that perimeter area along the lakefront. And they say 4,000 to 5,000 of those people will be fully vaccinated. Those will be the people allowed in that vaccinated zone, which is actually closer to the stage as well. Everybody's going to get checked. They're going to get stickers. But once inside, everybody's still required to wear masks while they're there. So it'll be a lot of fun for the people who are able to attend. And if you haven't gotten a ticket already, there still may be a chance for you to get one if you go to NFL.com/draft. So really cool stuff if you can get inside.
Yeah, I don't know if you were able to hear Betsy. Betsy was saying you have to show a card that shows you're vaccinated. When I got my tickets, and I think this is the case, when you go to the website, they ask you, are you vaccinated? So it's kind of the honor system. You have to say, yes, you are, that I know of. Nobody has mentioned to me that you'll have to present a card showing that you are fully vaccinated, just the honor system. So, Brandon, we know 150,000 people this year, and while that's great, we know there were 500,000 2 years ago when the draft was in Nashville. I'm wondering about the stage, though, because that stage seems massive compared to any of the other draft stages that I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger here. So Nashville may have had the bigger crowd. Obviously, we're only hindered by COVID, but our stage is much larger, 95 feet tall. We're talking 220 feet all the way around. when you look at it, and they have over 400 light fixtures. We're talking setups for national broadcasters like ESPN and NFL Network, and they said this is the largest stage they've ever built for one of these mobile NFL drafts that has to move from city to city. And the reason they did that is due to COVID. They wanted people to still be able to attend, but wanted them to be able to do so safely as well. So they're going to continue to follow CDC restrictions regarding spacing, and they said we'll build a big stage if that's what it takes to make it happen.
Certainly did a good job doing that, and they're going to have concerts and all kinds of stuff going on over the 3-day period. So even fireworks for a couple of the nights. So good stuff there. Brandon, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you again tonight at 6.
The stage is big on TV, but I saw it today in person, and it's just mammoth.
Yeah.
It really is. It takes your breath away. Also today at the Cleveland Convention Center downtown Cleveland, the Cleveland Sports Commission had their pre-draft Legends Luncheon. I served as the MC, interviewing special guest Josh Cribbs. We talked about his NFL journey, which actually began by all 32 teams, Betsy, passing on Josh Cribbs in all 7 rounds. He finally signed with the Browns as an undrafted free agent, and now he holds several Browns team records. In fact, he also has the NFL record for the most kickoff returns in a career. He did that an amazing 8 times. Betsy, he told the story of his incredible kickoff return for a touchdown. It came in the 2009 win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only thing I enjoy more than watching this play over and over again is listening to Josh tell about it. The play took 15 seconds. Yep. It takes him 10 minutes to tell the story, and I could listen to him talk about it for another 10 minutes.
I would love to get him and Jimmy Donovan next to each other, recounting the story minute by minute, because, you know, Jimmy was screaming his head off the entire time, too. It's just one of those amazing events that all sports fans really remember.
It really was one of the more memorable plays for a 10-year stretch for the Browns, because, let's face it, that decade didn't have a whole lot for us to cheer about. But that play, just incredible, and his story, it's absolutely priceless. All right, next on What's New, did you see what the Cavs' Kevin Love did last night in the loss to the Raptors? Bizarre doesn't even explain it. Real head scratcher. Has the NBA talking, and we break down the situation coming up.
Then it's Stress Awareness Month. We have easy steps you can take to relieve all the stress this pandemic has dumped on us this past year. Boy, do we need some of that. Jason, speaking of stress, not too bad today, but boy, there's going to be a lot of focus on the forecast over the next several days.
Oh, there certainly will be. A live look right now over downtown Cleveland via our CSU cam. We're seeing some sun. We're seeing just a little bit of clouds, but friends, things are about to change. We are talking not only cooler weather, but also some rain that's going to be heading our way, as well as some thunderstorms. I'm timing out when it could impact your neighborhood right after this.
All right, they've been adored by wine lovers for nearly 20 years. It's Lorello Vineyards in Geneva that is a can't-miss stop on the Ohio wine circuit, and they are part of our Save Our Sauce list. Tasting flights are a great idea here, so you can try their traditional wines and even their Mad Habanero ice wine. Jay, I think that has your name written all over it.
And love habanero.
It's the sweet and the spicy together.
Bring it.
Well, you can check it out, and you can get more information on this winery and others that are recommended by Doug Tratner at WKYC.com/SaveOurSauce. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you were expecting a fine or a suspension for Kevin Love, think again. No, seems a little egregious, but some people were expecting that. Yeah, it was really flippant, but like, it was like he forgot where he was. Yeah, good.
All right, Jason Fraser, we did make it to 80-plus degrees across Northeast Ohio. As a matter of fact, we're still sitting there right now. Beautiful night around the area, but the changes are coming. You're going to time all that out for us, right?
You know, I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, because I love the warm weather, even though I know your mom, you told us before, did not, right?
There's a lot of people that don't.
Well, all right, friends. Well, I got some good news for you then. If you are looking for some cooler air, we are going to definitely be seeing it here within the next 24 hours. 83 right now in downtown Cleveland, 80 in Medina. And I want to compare these temperatures around the country because we are actually warmer than Jackson, Mississippi and Atlanta, Georgia right now, where they are in the low 80s. So this is a pocket of very warm air. And you may be wondering, why is it so warm? Well, part of that has to do with not only the wind direction, but also the jet stream. So jet stream, it separates from cold Canadian air from very warm southerly air. And as you're going to notice here, we are pretty much right on the outer skirts of that jet stream. But what's going to end up happening here over the next 2 days, we're going to see the jet stream shift downward, and we are going to get some cooler Canadian air in here. So we are going to finally return back to normal. Normal around this time of year is in the lower end of the 60s. Satellite and radar right now, things are looking pretty good. However, we do have some cloud cover. That, friends, is going to be pushing across our area. Look at all this cloud cover that extends across the midsection of the country, and embedded in all of these clouds are lots of rain showers as well as thunderstorms. And friends, that is what's going to be heading our way here within the next 24 to about 48 hours. As we go hour by hour, sponsored in part by our friends at National Design Mart. So the warm air is going to be sticking around for at least another 24 hours. Then we are going to have a cold front that's going to push through, and then that is when we're going to see temperatures nosedive. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, we're going to be in the low 60s. Tomorrow afternoon, I think for sure we are going to get at least to the low to mid 70s. Then we're going to start to see some showers pop up here, especially in western areas like Sandusky, Elyria, as well as in Mansfield. And then everybody's going to fill in with cloud cover. And then look at what happens tomorrow evening. We really start getting rocking and rolling here. And I think some of these rain showers will definitely feature some thunderstorms, and some of these thunderstorms could be very strong at times. And I'm really concerned about seeing some of those darker shades of red as well as orange there. So we definitely will be keeping a very watchful eye on it. Betsy Kling as well as Matt Wentz will be tracking it all tomorrow. Here's a look right now at your Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook. So 77 for tomorrow, 60s for Thursday, and then we cool down during the day as well. 56 for Friday. And then Jay, we slowly start to improve by the end of this weekend. Sunday, we are well back into the 70s.
All right, very good. I'll be looking forward to that. Jason, thank you. Well, a bizarre moment last night for the Cavs' Kevin Love, and the Indians' hunt for a new name continues. Stephanie Haney covering it all in today's Clicking in Cleveland. Stephanie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Jay. Wow, that Kevin Love story. We're going to get to that one in a minute. That's an interesting one. But first up, if you like chicken and beer, good news for you. Boss Chicken Beer has a new spot opening now. Now, what you're looking at right here is the original location in Berea, but the brand new restaurant is in Bay Village. That's where the co-owners have always wanted to be. And in addition to fried chicken, they have a full vegan menu. We just kind of have too many vegan wing options in Cleveland, so I will see you there. Now, speaking of options, let's take a look at the top names that are gaining traction for the Tribe rebrand. Our digital sports crew has rounded up the top 6 contenders for the team's new identity. They are Spiders, ew, you know how I feel about that, Guardians, Municipals, Buckeyes, Rockers, and the Cleveland Baseball Club. You can vote for your favorite on WKYC.com. Now here's a disclaimer for you. For all we know, the team could pick a name no one has ever thought of before, or a new great option could overtake the internet any day now, and if that happens, we will adjust and analyze accordingly. All right, now if you were expecting a fine or a suspension for Kevin Love over his antics in last night's loss, probably not going to happen. The Cavaliers will reportedly be handling things internally after Kevin Love did this yesterday. You see him here just sort of slapping the ball to inbound it against the Toronto Raptors, giving up an easy 3 in the third quarter. We got to watch this again. There is a reason that Bleacher Report tweeted, "What is Kevin Love doing with this video?" And he really got roasted for this online. I think my favorite post was, Did Kevin Love just become a villain overnight? We saw a lot of those tweets online, and maybe, but he did apologize to the team, and we are learning that he was upset with a ref and not a teammate. But wow, Jay and Betsy, watching that, it felt like Kevin Love forgot where he was for a minute. What do you make of that?
Well, I think he forgot he was making $31 million a year. That's what I think. I love Kevin Love, too, but come on. I mean, you don't give up easy three-pointers because you're upset with the referee's call and act like you completely don't care.
Right.
Is very bizarre and very un-Kevin Love-like.
It was a little pouty pants, I will admit that myself.
Pouty pants. She said it, not me, but I agree. It was pouty pants.
It was pouty pants.
Steph, thanks.
All right, it is no secret the pandemic has added an extra layer of stress to a lot of families. And we have tools that will help you relieve some of that stress and live a healthier lifestyle.
Then, you may remember this Chihuahua. He was described as a 13-pound rage machine. And he looks like it. Well, we have an update for you on his forever home.
Wow.
And let's do today's pop quiz question. Again, draft related. Which NFL team selected the wrong player during a draft? This is a true story. It actually happened. It was miscommunication. The Browns, the Bucks, or the Panthers? Think about it. The answer coming up in 2 minutes. So maybe you were thinking, well, it's got to be the Browns, right?
It's a very Browns thing to happen.
You would think. But no, actually, the answer is B, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was a terrible miscommunication. The team was torn between Booker Reese and Sean Farrell. Executives were in a noisy room when they finally made the decision, and they misunderstood who the team back in headquarters asked them to draft.
Oh.
Yeah, it was horrible. And it turned out to be one of the worst draft picks in NFL history.
That was probably a really fun conversation to be a fly on the wall after that one.
Someone lost their job, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we are talking about stress now because April is Stress Awareness Month, not draft related, but we know that over this last year, stress has been on the rise during the pandemic.
So we spoke with a psychiatrist from University Hospitals about why managing stress is so important, along with the importance of self-care, not only this month, but every month.
It's so crucial to recognize what kind of impact stress has on us.
If you're feeling stressed out, you're not alone. In fact, a recent study from the Pew Research Center shows that about a fifth of U.S. adults are having high levels of psychological distress, and it's only increased over the last year during this pandemic. So, talking about mental health remains crucial, and we must continue to stop the stigma.
We are often judging ourselves and not having a lot of self-compassion, and it's so important to recognize when we are struggling and knowing that help, support, and treatment is right there.
So, what can you do to best manage stress?
One technique is focusing on the right now, the present, the moment. You know, a lot of the stress is thinking about the past, what we could have done, should have done, would have done, or the future, the worries, the to-do list, what could happen. And that can be overwhelming. It is overwhelming. We are navigating in 3 time zones at the same time. So how do we focus in the here now? Take a moment right now.
Dr. Adan says that stress management also goes hand in hand with self-care.
Self-care is not negotiable. It's a discipline. It's not a luxury. You know, and the most important word in self-care is self. So what is caring? It's nurturing, encouraging, supporting, healing, guiding, loving. Can we do that for ourselves? It is something that we have a chance to do every single day.
And the doctor wants everyone to keep in mind, not all stress is bad stress.
And there is actually, you know, even good stress, like buying a house, getting married, getting a promotion, bring a newborn home. All of those are wonderful events, but they are causing stress, right? They are forcing us to adapt, to change, and to also face with some of the unknown. We know that we are going to have surprises. We know we're going to have, you know, curveballs. We know we're going to have unexpected events, losses. So normalizing this and knowing that nobody is immune to feeling stress.
Yep, no one is. University Hospitals recommends trying these 4 things to reduce stress. Got to eat a healthy diet. That starts with everything, really. Includes whole grains, fruits, veggies, lean proteins. Try to avoid caffeine, sugar, and alcohol because all of those, believe it or not, actually increase stress. Aerobic exercise is very important. Walking, running, swimming, yoga, all of those will help. They also recommend visualizing a place, wherever that is, that you want to be for 15 minutes. But what you do is you just close your eyes and you imagine that you're there. You try to breathe slow and deep. Imagine what you would see if you were there, what you would hear, taste, smell, the whole thing. Wherever your special place is, it will calm you down. And Betsy, the last one is to communicate. Talk to someone who's not involved in the stressful situation so you might get their point of view. Because oftentimes it's just a matter of common sense and they can talk you out of being stressed out over something that you have no control over.
You know what kills me is the doctor said you have to take time for self-care. You know, that's a very big priority. Yeah. I don't have time for self-care.
You know, but
this is what I've decided on a daily basis. I'm like, that just is not happening. So I think, you know, we kind of have to frame it in, right? So, and especially for parents, it's very difficult, and working parents, you know, even if it's just on the way to work, a quiet car.
Yeah.
Not on the phone. That's my little Zen moment. I have 17 minutes of Zen on my way to work every day. But it's just that little moment. Embrace it.
All right, coming up next, the Chihuahua that became an internet star for being neurotic finally finds a home. Hear what his new owner has to say about how he's doing in his new environment.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. I'm Laura Queso. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hey Al, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello. Tonight on Channel 3 News at 6.
Thank you.
Mic check, Monica, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every dog deserves a loving home, even if they aren't super friendly and they like to bite people and eat small.
Okay. Yep, check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's mic. We're talking about NFL draft still from Mall C.
I'm coming. It's 89, 5,000 degrees outside. Give me a chance to get out of the air conditioning, sir. Here I am. I was right there by the car. The car is 20 feet away. I was walking up. I wish I had my...
Every dog deserves a loving home, even if they aren't super friendly. And the Chihuahua that became an internet sensation earlier this month now has a new home. You might remember Prancer. He got a lot of attention on social media for his brutally honest description. His foster parents described him as neurotic, a hater of men, animals, and children, and a 13-pound rage machine. Now, despite all that, his new owner says he's sweet, he's loving, and he's great on walks.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
It's all a situational thing.
He looks like a terror, but I'm glad he's doing well in his new environment. We're out of time. Back at 5 tomorrow. We hope to see you then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
New mask guidelines.
This is another great reason to go get vaccinated now.
The CDC says many Americans can now be outside without a mask. The new guidelines for those who are fully vaccinated. Hate on the rise. The Anti-Defamation League says Ohio saw a record number of anti-Semitism incidents this past year. A look at the troubling numbers. One shooting, 2 stories.
And thank God for those type of videos, because without those videos, we wouldn't have the story we have today.
The conflicting reports and why Trayvon Johnson says he had no reason to be shot by the DEA in Cleveland. Plus, draft day preparations. More than 50,000 people a day are expected to experience the draft here in Cleveland. We get a closer look at this week's big event.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. Tonight we have updated guidelines for those who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Those who are fully vaccinated do not have to wear a mask outside at small gatherings.
The CDC director, President Biden, and Governor DeWine all spoke today, emphasizing the same message. Go get vaccinated, saying the vaccine is giving us the power to get things back closer to normal.
If you're vaccinated, you can do more things more safely, both outdoors as well as indoors.
Governor DeWine also had an announcement for vaccinated Ohioans. Our senior health correspondent Monica Robbins breaks down what you need to know.
We've known being outdoors inhibits virus spread, but now that more people are vaccinated, the CDC is saying it's okay to lose your mask if you're fully vaccinated in some outdoor situations, when you're alone, with family members, or in a small group. Fully vaccinated means 2 weeks after your second dose of Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks after the Johnson & Johnson shot. But you'll still need your mask for a crowd.
For vaccinated people, outdoor activities without a mask are safe. However,
we continue to recommend masking in crowded outdoor settings and venues, such as packed stadiums and concerts.
Governor DeWine made his own announcement for fully vaccinated Ohioans.
Ohioans, beginning today, who are fully vaccinated will no longer have to quarantine if they have been exposed to someone who has COVID.
Ohio's mask mandate from last July requires masks in public at indoor locations and outdoors if you can't maintain 6 feet from people who are not household members, and when using public transportation. He thought the CDC guidelines were no big surprise.
There might be some change to conform to what they said. Again, I read it fast. I didn't see a major change, but certainly we have facts that are changing. We're having people vaccinated.
Some clarification on the quarantine order. It does not apply to those in nursing homes or long-term care facilities. They still need to quarantine if exposed to someone with COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Wolstein Center will be open for 5 more weeks. This week, they're giving out their first Pfizer dose shots. In the 9th week, they're not sure what they're going to be doing. Perhaps bringing back the J&J 1 dose. We'll have to wait and see. And then the last 3 weeks, they'll be doing the 2nd dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Also, they now have walk-in appointments available. So if you want a vaccine right now, now's the time to get one, Russ.
And that is certainly good news. All right, Monica Robbins, thank you. The Summit County Fairgrounds will resume using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine this weekend. That decision comes after the federal government lifted its pause of the vaccine last week after rare blood clotting concerns. Appointments for the Summit County mass vaccination site can be made on the Get the Shot portal.
New tonight, the Real ID deadline for air travel has been pushed back once again. The most recent deadline was set for October 1st, but now it's set for May 3rd, 2023. This gives those who want to travel by plane even more time to get a Real ID compliant license or passport. DHS says right now, only 43% of all driver's licenses and ID cards are compliant. Tonight, the young man who was shot during an undercover DEA investigation is speaking out and telling a different story than law enforcement. Our Romney Smith reports.
Trayvon Johnson says that he did not have a gun and should have never been shot for checking out a car with heavy tinted windows that sat in front of his family's home for more than 20 minutes.
I don't know how he felt like I was there. I was on my way home. I was just trying to see who it was in the car.
But the DEA tells a very different story, including the recovery of a gun.
2 subjects approached one of the DEA agents brandishing a weapon, at which time the agent felt threatened and there was gunfire exchange.
In this video, you can see a person exit the driver's side of the vehicle, then get back inside. Another person, believed to be Johnson, exits the other side of the vehicle and approaches officers, where we see 2 flashes believed to be gunshots. The family says to add insult to injury, the agents didn't try to help Johnson.
My brother almost died in my arms. I told y'all that I was a veteran. I told y'all that he was shot, and no one tried to apply medical attention to him. I was trained as a combat lifesaver. Immediately, I tried to do something, but I knew that if I attended to him, that I would possibly be shot.
With 40 stitches and 8 staples in his stomach, Johnson's lawyer says Trayvon is lucky to be alive, but adds the DEA agent was out of line.
And to have that officer engage Mr. Johnson with deadly force, never once announcing who he was, never once giving any commands, is unacceptable.
I spoke with the Cleveland DEA agent this afternoon, who said the case is actively under investigation. The family's lawyer says they are conducting their own independent investigation as well. Reporting in Cleveland, Romney Smith, 3 News.
Romney, thank you. And now to North Carolina, where calls for justice are growing tonight after attorneys for the family of Andrew Brown released an independent autopsy report a week after he was shot and killed. Sheriff's deputies were serving an arrest warrant when the shooting happened. The autopsy shows Brown was shot 5 times, with one of the bullets hitting him in the back of the head. His family says they were only allowed to see 20 seconds of body camera footage of the shooting.
It's obvious he was trying to get away. It's obvious. And they gonna shoot him in the back of the head. That's not right. That's not right at all, man.
This afternoon, the FBI announced it has opened a civil rights investigation. Tomorrow, a judge will rule if the entire video of the incident should be released publicly.
New tonight, Ohio saw a record number of anti-Semitic incidents last year. This according to the Anti-Defamation League. The ADL recorded 43 anti-Semitic incidents statewide, up from 25 the year before. 60% of those took place right here in Northeast Ohio. Despite coronavirus pandemic restrictions, the pandemic inspired new hateful ideas and tactics like Zoom bombing. 3 News investigates will have much more on this story next Thursday in our Turning Point series at 7 p.m. It is official. Christine Fowler-Mack will be the new superintendent of the Akron School District. The school board had a special meeting to introduce her today. She'll take over at the end of June. Fowler-Mack is the first woman to lead Akron schools in their 174-year history.
Here we go. Just 2 days from now, the NFL draft will be in full swing, taking over downtown Cleveland and capturing millions of viewers around the world. The big stage is set, literally. And today we got our first close-up look at the area where all the magic happens. Brandon Simmons has the details for us.
Next to the Super Bowl, it's one of the largest sporting events there is. The NFL Draft taking over Cleveland for 3 days starting Thursday. And the big stage is set.
We are standing here in front of the largest stage structure that we've ever built for the draft.
95 feet tall, 220 feet wide, and 225 feet deep. The draft theater is historic in size to deal with problems that come with the pandemic, allowing more people to fit safely in one space.
We've come up with a really great solution to be able to allow fans to access as much as possible.
Inside, there are more than 22 million pixels filling screens around the area, and more than 400 LED light fixtures to split between the main stage and national broadcasters set up in draft theater. And there will be plenty of eyes taking it all in.
We project to have 50,000 fans a day in the draft experience.
Those fans will be split into sessions, with vaccinated fans getting special stickers for access closer to